So
let me close out by saying the educated class, the educated Negroes, they have transcended race. They got education. They would say, I went to Harvard, I went to Yale, I went to Stanford, I went to University of Chicago. I control my mind. I run this. White supremacy doesn't exist. That's a figment of your imagination. What do you tell these educated Negroes, not the common folks?
Well, again, I think if they are really educated and not miseducated, as Carter G. Woodson says we are, the miseducation of the Negro, and he talks about those Negroes, is that you know what you had to do to get through Harvard and Yale and U of C and all those white dominated institutions. There were benchmarks. You had to pass certain exams, you had to memorize certain material, all of that goes in your mind. And you didn't use all parts of your mind, you used what you needed to get through. And so when you came out, that was who you are. Again, the sum total of those years that you spent there getting that information to pass their tests, to surpass those benchmarks, to get to each plateau, to go to the next plateau, that is in your mind. Now, if you haven't had any exposure on the other end, at Hampton, at Howard, Tuskegee, Alabama A&M, Tennessee State, all those schools, Spelman, Morehouse. Now, even though those aren't the blackest institutions in my opinion,
I understand, yeah.
That's closer to being who you are than it is going to Harvard. And I'm not putting that stuff down,
right.
But you got to know what you want to do in life.
Well, many of us have drank the Kool-Aid of white supremacy and don't even know it.
No. Well, that's the whole point. I mean, it is very subtle because you have to make an effort to go outside of that to find you, to look at the things that reinforce us in a positive way as a people. It's not something that you can see on TV, even TV1. TV1 is black programming 24 hours a day. And aside from the fact that most of those programs just have black images, right. If you close your eyes, much of that stuff is just black folks doing stuff that white folks do in blackface. Now, that is still better. Yeah. It ain't saying a lot for progress, but it's better than just looking at white folks doing it in whiteface, because everything that white folks do ain't wrong.
Right.
But the point that I'm making is the intent and the philosophy of behind perpetuating who they are. Now, if what we see in ourselves is that we want to do what white people do and do it in blackface, that's a start. But that's not the end result. That's a start. That means if you see yourself being a doctor, like Dr. Huxtable, and being married to a lawyer, like Claire, then that's still okay. That ain't the end result. But it affords you an opportunity to have a certain lifestyle and help certain people and to get certain things. It don't mean sit in your house all day. Well, you can't if you're a doctor or lawyer, but it does not mean to continue to perpetuate them. It means to go out into the world. It means to travel to the continent. It means to go where black people are, who are truly demonstrating and exhibiting black existence on its highest level. Because that's not demonstrating African existence on its highest level. No offense, but that's exhibiting Negro existence. And it's okay, because in America, I'm not sure, and this is something that is going to be very controversial. I am not sure if African people in America, referred to as African Americans, can go beyond being Negroes in America. Because in order to go beyond that, there have to be institutions that reflect who we are as an African people. I don't necessarily mean a statue or monument of Dr. King in Washington, D.C. at the foot of the white people's monuments in Washington, D.C. That's a tribute and that's important. But that is not really the essence of who we are as African people, but he is a descendant of African people. A monument of Malcolm X is not the ultimate, but that's what we should have. And that's what I'm saying in terms of countering. If we're going to celebrate the people who've given their lives to us, where is the group that's fighting for a statue? Where the black nationalists that are fighting for a tribute on that order, not in D.C., of Malcolm X. So I'm just saying we have to look at those individuals. But